Welcome to the Charleston Real Estate Connection Podcast, connecting and reconnecting you with all things Charleston. I am your host, Nia Joy, your golden realtor, licensed in the state of South Carolina. Welcome to the show. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 19th episode of the Charleston Real Estate Connection Podcast. How are you guys doing? I have with us Bo Taylor of Knows Fitness. And if you don't know Bo actually also knows Nexton. So Bo, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Yes. You're somebody who I've been following for a while on LinkedIn. Goodness, your discipline is like crazy. It totally reminds me of my husband's. Like, you guys are just on it. So not only with the fitness thing, like the social media game, and just really sharing what Bo knows. We've been enjoying it.
Well, good. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So it's a labor of love, I guess.
Yes, I mean, you could tell like you really love what you do. So it just oozes. And it's funny. I think we did meet in person one time through our brokerage. Met at your at one of the meeting places you guys have for realtors and their brokerages. They can come out.
Yeah, I feel like we've probably met at least once. I know a lot, especially like CTAR events and everything.
Oh yeah, those too.
It's like a mad rush of, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing?
Yes, it's never quite very long. Right, you're correct. But I look forward to doing a follow-up episode, maybe where we come out to Nexton and tour Nexton. Because
absolutely, we'd love to have you.
Yeah. So for those of you listening, if you want to check out this podcast, subscribe. You can use any of your major platforms where you listen to your favorite podcasts, iTunes, SoundCloud, just to name a few. They're all out there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So Bo, tell everyone, what is your connection to Charleston?
So my connection to Charleston is kind of I guess sort of unique. My parents actually grew up in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. So back in the day when Mount Pleasant was probably maybe 7,000 people.
I remember that because I'm from there. Like, I missed that. The little bit of, it felt a little more rural.
Back before when Coleman Boulevard was a lot of trees.
Yes.
So they got married young and then moved to Virginia. So I grew up in Virginia, but had visited here all my life, visiting family and coming for vacations and whatnot. Okay. So I just had always loved it here. So I moved here just a little over 20 years ago.
Okay.
And just haven't looked back. So I lived in Mount Pleasant for about 16 years. Mm-hmm. And then moved around a little bit for a year, and then ended up settling in Summerville, met a girl, that sort of stuff. So
the typical story.
Yeah. Go where the girl goes.
Go where the girl goes. Yeah, of course. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, so that's awesome. So you have roots to Mount Pleasant, which is one of the fastest growing, in the top 5 fastest growing cities in the Charleston area.
Yeah, like we said, it really blows me away every time it's probably one of the few things I think I've gotten right as far as real estate goes. Was I remember saying it's going to be Mount Pleasant out to Allendale or Mullenville before it's over with, and it's getting who would have thought there would be a North Mount Pleasant? So.
I still haven't wrapped my mind around a North Mount Pleasant. I'm still quite not there.
Yeah, Brickyard used to be the end of the world, and now.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Started.
It was like Brickyard, and then you may see the seaweed store, and then you're in McClellanville. That's it. Yeah. I don't know how. I mean, oh man, it's crazy how it's grown. So now you're in Summerville, which is like a rock throw for me because I'm Dorchester County, but I'm still in North Charleston.
Oh, okay.
And right there, Nexton. I mean, that Nexton actually splits between Dorchester County and Berkeley, or is it all Berkeley County?
It's all Berkeley County.
All Berkeley County. Okay. Well, that's cool. You guys got the new YMCA over there.
Yeah, it's up in Cane Bay, and then we're hoping in the Midtown area that is planned in Nexton that we're hoping we'll have a YMCA somewhere in there.
Oh, really?
There's a lot, there's a long ways to go with that. And YMCA's are a little interesting because they're kind of, I don't want to say they're like McDonald's, but
Hmm.
every YMCA in general is owned by a company or a group. So it's not like Starbucks where they're all owned by one
Okay.
company. So the YMCA group that handles the YMCA that's in Cane Bay is different from the one that handles the two that are in Summerville at the Ponds in downtown Summerville.
Oh, wow. I really did not know that. But as soon as you started talking about them having a new one, McDonald's actually was the first thing that popped into my mind, believe it or not, before you even said that, because it made me think of like how they do the Starbucks and the Chick-fil-A's. They
Yeah,
have a certain amount of people they're probably looking to engage with and
right.
whatnot.
There, and it's funny. It's kind of the same thing with, and I didn't know this when we were looking at, because now we have so many hotels that are coming in next, and
Hmm.
there's like a whole formula of how they figure out where to put those, and how far away from an interstate exit, and all kinds of stuff that goes on into that. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, and actually with my into or being in the fitness industry, and actually my first job or internship was at a YMCA.
Oh, wow.
So I learned a little bit about that, and then I've done a lot of work with the downtown YMCA and the pond. So
Uh-huh.
it's really interesting that basically it's kind of like a franchise. You have groups that manage those, certain ones. The one that is at Cane Bay is actually handled by the Charleston YMCA groups.
Okay. Which is that's the one that handles the downtown one?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with that one. So, so let me get this straight. You go to the Citadel for undergrad,
Mhm. Oh, no, I went to Citadel for grad school.
for grad school. Okay, for grad school, you go to the Citadel.
Yeah.
Your first job actually was at a Y.
Mhm.
So you crossed the two. I mean, at what point, or maybe you could break it down into your love with fitness and maybe your business. Can you explain to everybody like how you came about being such an expert in fitness? How did that come about? Your business love story. How did that come
Yeah,
about?
it's kind of a I don't I hate to say that I fell into it. When I was going to college, I really thought I wanted to be a PE teacher because I
Okay.
really enjoyed teaching. I enjoyed coaching. I enjoyed sports. I can't say that I had a love for fitness, but that was part of being an athlete, was being in shape and
Hmm.
being athletic. So um, it's probably a much longer, too long of a story to tell of how I ended up the education part of
Right.
what happened. But basically, I ended up switching concentrations from a teaching concentration to a commercial fitness concentration. Um,
Okay.
and so, was a swimmer in college, and my best friend, his dad was the CEO of the local YMCA. He's like, "Hey, you could do your internship there with my dad." I was like, "Well, sure, okay." So and before that, I'd had a discussion with, my advisor. They're like, "Well, are you interested in owning a gym someday?" And I was like, "I guess,
You're like, I don't know. I'm like
that sounds like a good idea."
just trying to figure out life at this point.
And also keep in mind, and this will date me a little bit. This was probably 1996.
Hmm.
So personal training and that sort of stuff wasn't as prevalent as it is now. So
Okay.
when somebody said, "Hey, do you want to be a personal trainer?" I was like, "What? What is that?"
Right.
But basically, I did my internship and got through that, and then I had a good connection that got me my first like real paying job, so to speak, in fitness. Um,
Okay.
and there was one personal trainer there, and she was going on vacation. And she said, "Hey, how would you like to train my clients for a week?" And again, I really had no idea what that meant. I was like, "What do
Uh-huh.
I have to do?" She's like, "Well, you just tell them to do the exercises and what and make sure that they don't hurt themselves, and then they'll pay you, and that's it." I was like,
That's it.
"What?" So I did that for a week, and that was kind of, the rest is history. I really enjoyed it, and I got along with the folks that her clients, and that kind of led to me going to a different facility that was within the same company that the health system that I was working for, and
Uh-huh.
did some management and stuff for them, but still did some personal training. And then I decided to move to Charleston. So that was kind of the
Oh,
parlay into leaving there to come to Charleston. So,
so it started in Virginia, where
yeah.
you're from, where you were raised, I should say, and then you kind of trickled back on to Charleston, and then I guess the idea was already planted.
Yeah, I had when I moved, I really wasn't sure what I was at first. I wasn't for sure what I was going to do, and then
Hmm.
like, well, I'll go back and get my master's and get my I was going to decided I was going to teach,
Hmm.
and I had initially gone to Charleston Southern, and we had some issues of getting transcripts and whatever, and I'd gone for an interview. I had worked in cardiac rehab with the health system that I worked for, and I had gone for an interview with Roper for a cardiac rehab program, and
Hmm.
the guy said, "Hey, have you thought about applying to the Citadel?" And I was like, didn't cross my mind, but and it was just kind of one of those things that everything fell into place. So
Uh-huh.
things weren't working paperwork wise, and things weren't working out at Charleston Southern. Not and no ill will towards them. It just things happen for a reason, I guess.
Right.
And when I went and talked to the guy who became my advisor at the Citadel, it was like everything he said made sense. And literally, while I was sitting in the office, one of the professors walked by that ran the cardiac rehab program at the
Uh-huh.
Citadel for MUSC, and he yelled at the guy, and he's like, "Hey, aren't you looking for somebody?" And so I basically got in the master's program in the Citadel and got an internship all in one visit.
All in one visit, just one shot and done. Yeah, 2 for 1 right there. So
So
then for there, you just, like, you're already kinda on a deeper, um, level, or on track to start your own, um,
yeah, really,
business?
I think I had during that time, and I was also working I was working a full time job and going to school and doing cardiac rehab and kind of all juggling all these things and um, doing some kind of training on the side and whatnot. And
Yeah.
then basically, I had always lifeguarded for years, so I had actually lifeguarded at the Daniel Island Club for a
Okay.
summer. And while I was finishing my degree, and it just so happened they decided to build a fitness center at the club.
Okay, cool.
So I kind of had a foot in the door.
Uh-huh.
And when they decided about 2 weeks after they opened, they had somebody there that was kind of running it, and they knew they needed somebody or wanted somebody that had a fitness background and
Yeah,
education and that sort of stuff. So
and that's when it got planted,
kind of blew
kept
up.
going in from there.
Um, from then on, probably for about 10 years, that was my certainly um, a big thing as far as like I did publications and
Okay.
a lot of work with going to conferences and that sort of thing. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of work, trying to balance management of facilities and
Uh-huh.
also doing a personal training. But yeah, it was
Uh-huh.
really good.
And this was all at the Y?
No, this was actually at the Daniel Island Club.
Oh, this was at the Daniel Island Club still. Okay, still at the Daniel Island Club. And that's when you kind of started attaining clients. So what type of clients do you typically work with?
It kind of ranges, like I said, like I was saying before, like really not like now my clients are more on the level of they're already determined to get results. They're
Hmm.
not they don't necessarily need that extra. They may need a push, but it's a little bit of a different push. In the beginning years ago, when I would start with clients, they're really kind of starting at square one for the most
Right.
part, whether it be because they're overweight or they've got bad. Maybe they went to the doctor and the doctor said, "Hey, these results aren't good. We need to get you on some sort of program."
Yep.
Um, and then a lot of times too, you get, especially working at like country clubs or places like that
Hmm.
people they want to get a extra 10 yards on their on their drive
Yeah.
swing, or
Yeah.
want to be able
This
to
it all kind of helps.
harder. So I think, and the biggest misconception with that is a lot of times people, they want that, I don't even want to say quick fix, but they want that
Yeah.
perfect thing that's gonna make them hit the ball harder or whatever.
Uh-huh.
When in fact it really is, it just goes back to basics, making sure
Okay.
you're right, staying flexible, doing the regular things that everybody else is doing.
Hmm.
Not this magic exercise that's gonna make you hit that ball harder.
Yeah, and my husband, he has a huge fitness background, but it's mostly weight training and lifting. And I noticed like one of the number one questions I notice people ask about fitness. I don't know if you get this much, but people are like, "What do I need to do?" And I think you clearly brought that up. Like people are like, "Oh, I want a smaller tummy, but I want to keep everything else." And it's like kind of can't really work like that.
Well, and it's funny too, like you said, a lot of people will ask about, well, I want my stomach smaller, and I'm like, well, even for professional athletes and people, if people that do bodybuilding and physique type
Hmm.
competitions,
Hmm.
stomach is the absolute last place that your body wants to take away fat because it's protecting you. It's
Yeah.
keeping your organs warm. It's keeping them protected.
Hmm.
So I've it's been made abundantly clear. I've always kind of went up and down as far as my weight goes.
Uh-huh.
I've struggled just like everybody else.
Right. Right.
I love food, but I enjoy working out as well. So
Hmm.
it's one of those things where, and it's a tough thing that you're losing all this weight, and yet you still you still see this area
Yep.
that doesn't go away. So you kind of have to do some crazy things to get that, and then also really informing people that having abs doesn't make you healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It's
know,
like a superficial thing, right? It's
yeah,
just
you
like
might
a
think it
you
looks,
like it looks nice,
but
so want it.
it's not. And also too, you see, people say, "Oh, I want to look like the person on that magazine." I'm like, you don't realize how hard the people in the magazine work to get to that,
Yeah.
and that's only for just literally for a few minutes.
Yeah, sure.
They
S
eat and that goes away.
That's so true. So like if somebody wants to work with you one on one and get a consultation, maybe they need more of the kind of accountability, or maybe like you said, they're willing to look into maybe a personalized program where you're working with them. How do they go about reaching out to you and maybe getting that process
Yeah,
started, especially during this time? We're li-
yeah, and really, like I said, it's now's a great time to do this sort of thing, just because pretty much the way I interact with folks is really just through the computer or
Mhm.
text messages and that sort of thing. Um, and I think people are to the point that they don't want to go out anyway with everything that's going on. So
Mhm.
yeah, just my website, bonowsfitness.com.
Okay.
All the social media stuff is on there as well, and that's all at Bono's Fitness. And then my all my contact information is there as well, and
Okay.
happy to chat, text, all the numbers of ways to that we can. It's so funny. I think it's hilarious that we have all this technology basically just to be face to face.
Yes. Oh, for sure. For sure. And it's funny, we're probably meeting and engaging more now than we probably did before this whole thing got started. I mean, goodness, I hope I hope my Zoom stock is in my portfolio because goodness gracious. I've always been doing this like and I come from a brokerage where everything's virtual. So we already been doing it, but I mean, the awesome thing is, you have a point of contact with you, not only through fitness, but like your other specialty. You're just knowing Nexton. Like we could easily like engage with you via video. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think that's really, and not to, I guess, to sort of switch gears, but that's, I think, where a lot of realtors are going to excel are the ones that have either, like yourself, that are already into the technology, or or certainly the ones that are willing to learn it, embrace it, and learn, and kind of use it as a stepping stone to move forward,
Uh huh.
rather than people that are like, set in their ways and like, well, I'm not going to use that Zoom stuff, or
Hmm.
whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
They would rather ride it out and miss out on a lot of opportunity
For sure.
than to take a chance on learning something. So
For sure. And I mean, even with what you guys are doing at Nexton, like what are some things that you guys are doing to engage with the public and your clients and the realtors, potential buyers? Like, I know I've seen some of your virtual flyers that you guys are putting out there. Um, but what are some examples of some things you guys are doing?
yeah, so I know on the website we have basically that we can do either Zoom, any kind of like multimedia, basically a tour, virtual tour.
Okay.
I know we've done some where we've done can't even really call it a tour, but basically we've used our phones to Zoom or Skype our maps
Okay.
to show people where things are to get kind of just so that they can feel like that they're basically like they're here in the greeting house,
Hmm.
and they can see the map and see the information. We also have tons of information on the website, and then also all of our builders are doing virtual tours. They are, I know a lot of them are starting to do by appointment.
By appointment. Okay.
So, and then they have a screening process for that. Each builder is a little different, but so we're
Hmm.
starting to kind of progress. And I believe I want to say May 1st,
Hmm.
and I don't think it's official yet, but
Right.
I believe we're going to start doing by appointment here as well.
Okay.
So hopefully we're going to start to kind of progress towards a regular, more normal.
Hmm. Kind of test it out, see how it goes.
See how it goes, and of course, see how what everything else, how everything else happens. But we also have on the website we have a chat bot. So there's like you can go onto the website and actually talk to it's usually me, Alicia, or Cassie. Uh,
Okay.
if for instance, if you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you're okay, I need to talk about Nexon. You can talk to the chat bot, and eventually, at some point, you'll probably stump it, so to speak.
Yeah, they're like, what?
Yeah, and it'll ask for like an email, and we can get back in touch with folks. So,
Oh, sweet.
and that's been really helpful.
That's awesome because I know, I mean, you and I both know this. People are always online looking at houses. That's how majority of people even start the home buying process.
Oh
And
yeah,
so I can imagine now more than ever between working from home. I know mortgage people that even say that they work like almost a second shift because they have their kids, and some of them third shift because
oh yeah.
so I can imagine people are the same way. They're probably like up all night. They're like, oh man, I gotta get ready to move soon. And they might have been waiting for school to be over, for example. So here we go. I mean, people are still moving from out of town that way. It doesn't matter.
Well, I was actually on a Zoom call yesterday with another realtor group, and one of the comments was made. They were like, "We're still going to have a spring season. It's just going to be in the summer."
Hmm. Right.
I think
Right.
yeah, you know, yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how kind of everything, kind of how it unfolds. But I think at least the way it seems right now, I think we're going to, we'll be fine. It's just everything's going to kind of get bumped up a little bit. But
Right. Maybe shifting it, a little
yeah.
shifting. Wow. So for those of you who guys don't know much about Nexton, um, Bo here is what is your I know you're like a kind of like an engagement coordinator. Is that what you do?
So I guess my official title is community representative, and then
Okay.
also the broker outreach coordinator as far as the on the realtor side.
Okay.
Basically, just so when people when they either engage with us or they're able to come into the greeting house, it's really just to give them a great experience, tons of information about the community, and basically to sell them on the community
Okay.
so that and it's funny, we did have I wish I'd had a camera because it was just the cutest couple in the world.
Oh wow.
As they were walking out the door, the lady goes, "Honey, let's just go buy a house," because they were just smitten with the whole concept of everything here. And that's really in a perfect world, we would love for that to happen every time.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in, we give them all the information about everything that's here and that's going to be here that we can tell them, and then basically they just need to go, pick out a house. So,
Yeah.
and that's something kind of to your point of what we were talking about before.
Hmm.
Something that we've done more of now than we have in the past is really even more qualifying people when they come in.
Uh-huh.
So that way, in a normal, what was a normal world, I guess, we would want them to go to every builder check out every model
Mm-hmm.
and have a more informed decision as far as like what they're looking for. Maybe they get an idea from one house, but they pick another one, that sort of thing.
Right.
Where now we not everybody wants to travel to 6, 7, 8, 9 different builders.
Yes. And it's
So
kind of like you guys are going to have multiple
yeah,
builders right there and models.
yeah. I mean, we've got
Homes.
6 builders in Brighton Park. And then of course, we've got 6 model homes just with Del Webb, and then of course you have Syntex and
Mhm.
True Homes in North Creek. So for someone like just to make up a number, like if you have somebody that's wants to buy a $350,000 home,
Mhm.
and let's say they're 55, well, they legitimately need to visit 9 builders.
Yes.
So really kind of talking to the folks and getting an idea of what they're looking for,
Uh-huh.
and that way we can say, builder X, definitely that they're not in play. So
Okay.
you can say, or builder Y, okay, they're not good. So if we can narrow them down to at least certainly 2 or 3 builders,
Mhm.
so that's all they're having to go to, and that
Mhm.
they're not wasting their time.
Yeah.
And of course, like I said, with everything that's going on,
Uh-huh.
taking chances of interacting with folks and that sort
Mhm.
of thing.
Well, let me ask you, like, so when you mentioned how you guys can help narrow down the search, is it based on your conversation with the buyers and their agents? Like, you kind of ask them what they're looking for, and maybe the style of home is that those type of things, or amenities. Are those the type of things you're
Yeah, it
asking?
depends. Certainly, with the way things are going now, we're getting a lot of we get leads that come in.
Hmm.
So they may say that they have an interest in these 3 builders. Well, then that way we know that's what we need to talk about. Or
Okay.
they'll say, "Hey, we're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath."
Okay.
That narrows it down some, but and obviously we can do some of the legwork as far as going on the website and pulling a list of, and it's some of that has been a lot of emails too, just emailing folks back and saying, hey, thanks for checking us out,
Right.
we noticed these are what you were this is here's a list of what you were looking for. So
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think that's what a lot of people need. I have a new segment coming up, which I'd love to partner with you guys on, and it's pretty much focusing on my hometown heroes that are in that transitional phase where they're interested in maybe the 55 and up community, or just maybe changing where they live. Maybe they have to sell a home and they don't want to downsize, or they like that Nexton has all of the activities that you guys have, the trails. It's just a beautiful one-stop place to live because you're nearby the stores and whatnot. So I look forward to sharing more of that with my
when
kids.
you got Starbucks and Halls, what else do you need, right?
I mean, I'm a taco boy
Yeah,
kind of
talk
person,
yeah.
so I enjoy
Tell you
that.
what, I was pleasantly surprised with Bad Daddy Burger.
Really, I haven't been there only because the line has been so long. When I would go, I
Yeah,
guess that's more when it first opened. I was
yeah.
like, that line is like kind of
I was because I'm kind of I'm a cheeseburger guy, and
yeah,
for because it's a chain, but it's not a huge chain.
right.
So yeah, I definitely wanted to check out for sure.
That's that, yeah, for sure. I need to I look forward to getting out, there again. I think they're doing takeout though, right?
Yeah, I think all the restaurants there, and I know Bake the donut place is doing pickup orders.
Pickups. Okay.
Basically run in, get it, run out. Um, yeah, and even Halls is doing curbside. I mean,
Okay.
so everybody's they've done a really good job, and they all do a good job with their social media. But they pretty much have a lunch and a dinner feature every day.
Okay.
So they've all done a really good job of promoting that, and then we've also got pages. Okra Grill that's had a food truck out pretty much almost every day.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so
Is that located near your building where you guys are?
it's actually right across from Nexton Square where they're built their brick and mortar restaurant will be.
Oh, it will be because it's not ready yet. I
Yeah.
remember when they were out in Mount Pleasant.
Oh, because Mr. Page used to live across the street from me, so I've known them for
Wow.
a long time. It's been really interesting to see how they were in a little old. a little old restaurant place.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I was like, how did that become what it is now?
Yes. I remember when they were talking about moving to Summerville, and everybody was like, "What?" Everybody in Mount Pleasant is like really upset about it, but it's good for growth and
Oh yeah, absolutely.
good.
And then Vicious Biscuits coming too. So
What
yeah.
is that like Biscuitville?
Sorta. It's really good.
Okay, I know. I lived in Raleigh, and we had Biscuitville.
Yeah, we
Um,
had that. We had that in Roanoke when I was a
okay.
junior. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, this is some great information, and I look forward to sharing this with everybody. More importantly, even doing a follow up with you, just to
Absolutely.
kind of see more of Nexton and hear more about it. Um, I know my family. We live in a place where we don't have any trails in our community, so the trails are a huge thing for us. Um,
Yeah, I didn't realize that that would be such a selling point, but it's one of our it's probably our number one thing. I wouldn't
mhm.
it never occurred to me, but yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, being where I am, I do have one on Dorchester Road. Um, but then you got to get there. You got to maybe drive out there and hit put the bikes on the back, which is fine with me if I like the trail. But I don't mind
But
throwing the
it's
bikes on
nice just
back.
to walk out your back door and
Yeah, it's like that's different. Like I remember when I was there, I have a video. Only did one tour of one of your properties, one of your model homes. But when I was out there, I remember seeing how people's houses backed up to the trail, and I was like, that's pretty dope. How you can
yeah,
do that. And I also liked how some of them had the detached garages. So it's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Bo. Do you have any advice for those that are looking to work out at home right now, and then maybe also some advice for those that are thinking about maybe moving to Nexton? Kind of two different separate questions, but
Yeah. So the biggest thing, I've kind of had to follow this plan. Some days it's just give yourself 5 minutes. If you do something for 5 minutes,
mm-hmm,
if you after 5 minutes you really just don't, you're just not feeling it, it's
hmm
okay to move on and go throughout your day.
hmm
But if you can kind of discipline yourself to just take that 5 minutes for yourself and push through it, you may find that you can go 6, 7, 8, and so forth. And I think if you can, a lot of times people say, well, it's just 5 minutes. That's nothing.
hmm
5 minutes of getting your blood flowing is
yeah,
more than you would if you didn't. So
for sure.
really doing that. And as far as Nexon, like it, it really kind of blows me away. All that Newland, who has developed this area, all that they've done.
hmm
Um, just the ability to have everything within, to say an arm's reach is a little bit of an exaggeration, but just to be able to have and certainly with all the more things that will come over, we're basically in the 7th or 8th year of a 20-year project.
Uh-huh.
So with all the more things that will come, you really won't have to leave the area. And even now, there's still a lot of things. I mean, even 5 or 10 minutes away, you've got Walmart, Target, all the stuff that's in Azalea Square,
hmm
and just the area itself is growing. So there's a lot of things in different directions. But once it's all said and done, you really won't have to leave the Nexton area. So I think, and just with the credibility of restaurants with Halls and Taco Boy and um, Fuji Sushi is another one,
hmm
Vicious Biscuit Pages, all those. And I think that it's certainly for people like you and me and people who have been in the area for some time to hear
hmm
those types of names that have been and that are really part of the community of Charleston that
hmm
they picked here to come
Yes.
does a lot for the growth of the area.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I think I know for me, like my husband, I will not I discourage him from coming to Nexton right now because he's always like, I think if I go there, I want to move there. And I was like, yeah, I think so too. Let's not go visit it. Cause I remember when I did a video of the model home, he was like, man, that looks so nice. He was like, let's go this Sunday. And I was like, can we not go this Sunday? I love where I live and everything, but like, can we just like bring it
Hey,
in a
we're
little
never
bit?
gonna be good friends.
I know. Listen. I mean, I could see myself moving again.
Yeah.
Um, but goodness,
Oh, I know.
Nobody really likes moving, but I think I can see people coming to Nexton, like that couple, visiting there and being like, "I want to live here. Let's buy a house."
Oh yeah.
Definitely, people are still buying and selling. So that's
Yeah, and I think that's I think that's the thing. The big probably job of realtors and developers is to really let people know that hey, business is happening. You know,
yes,
it's the world hasn't stopped. We just now's a really good opportunity while rates are still relatively low, or I
yes,
shouldn't even say relatively, they're low. I mean, they're low. Um, do it now, especially when there's nothing. I mean, things are slow
uh-huh.
in general. So yeah, just getting the word out, telling people we can still make it happen. So
Can make it happen. It's Bo Knows Fitness and Nexton. Goodness, what an awesome combination, especially out there in that lively community. So,
yeah,
but Bo, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me. And again, I look forward to doing this again.
yeah. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Well, everyone, you've heard it here. Bo Knows Nexton and Bo Knows Fitness. Thank you so much for joining us on the 19th episode of the Charleston Real Estate Connection podcast. I'm your host, Nia Joy, your golden realtor licensed in the state of South Carolina. Home Get Real Estate. You guys stay safe, stay golden. This has been another episode of the Charleston Real Estate Connection podcast. You can find us on our website at charlestonreconnection.com. That's charlestonreconnection.com.